Hi everybody. So today I'd like to look very briefly at the different explanations for the Mandela Effect so that I can then look in more detail at the best possible answers to those explanations. So very quickly, in a hugely sweeping generalization, we have Christians who believe the Mandela Effect is the work of Satan. We have the conspiracy theorists who believe in the use of advanced technology, CERN, D-Wave computer, as implemented by the super elite, and also psychological programming as implemented by the super elite. We've got the non-religious spiritual types and psychics who go for collective spiritual awakening and the multiverse theory. We have the sheeple, who are not interested enough to have a theory. We have the debunkers, who believe in general that it's a case of mass confabulation. We have politicians, media, high-profile people who don't have an opinion. And we have the internet trolls, who believe that people are idiotic and contemptible. Now, what I really want to talk about are the best possible answers to each of these explanations. So let's get into it. The Christians. Well, the answer to your explanation of the Mandela Effect being the work of Satan seems very straightforward to me, even though I admit I'm not a Christian. If Satan wants us all full of fear, greed, lust, and hate, then the clear answer to me is that it is for us to instead fill ourselves with love. I know there are many hardline Christians who will disagree with this, but I know there are also many Christians who do understand what love is, what it means, and why it is the ultimate answer. I feel really strongly for the Christians. It seems that they are challenged more than any other group by the Mandela Effect, and I find it painful to witness. And I believe that the ones who find their way through this with the greatest degree of grace will be those who carry love, and more love in their hearts. So that's my best possible answer for the Christians. The conspiracy theorists. I see similarities between you and the Christians, funnily enough. You have many different denominations, you argue amongst yourselves, and you are also often on guard against Satanists. And while you disagree with each other about many things, most of you do agree that somebody is hoarding the greatest amount of material wealth and political power for their own dark purposes. So, whether you believe most in the advanced technology explanation or the psychological programming, or see it as a combination of the two, I suggest the best response to these explanations is also love. Now, I know the pot of gold you chase is disclosure. You want the world to finally see what is really happening and who is really doing it. But actually, a good deal of disclosure has already occurred. We pretty much all know that the worlds of finance, industry, media, education, medicine, etc. are controlled by people who only have their own interests at heart. And this is so widely accepted, people hardly talk about it anymore. And for sure, there's lots more disclosure you would like to see take place, and you probably aren't ever going to stop wanting that, which is fine. But what is the answer once the disclosure has happened? Is it armed revolution? Criminal proceedings? Petitions? You guys, out of everybody, know that isn't going to do it. You are the guys who have a sense of how deep the rabbit hole goes. And you know well that nothing short of a united humanity is the answer to all of this. And humanity doesn't unite except through love. And you guys, above everybody else, because of your ceaseless researching, have no excuses for not being proactive about bringing love into the world. And if you're not spending at least as much time doing that as you are in researching and making videos, etc., then I suggest you take a look at that and ask yourselves what you are really about. Non-religious spiritual types and psychics, etc. Now for you, the cause of the Mandela Effect is love. Whether it be in the form of a collective spiritual awakening or the multiverse theory in which people are able to move to neighbouring parallel Earths by raising their frequency through feeling love. And of course, the only response to these explanations is more and more love. The question for you guys is, how are you doing? Are you really walking about your days connecting with feelings of love for yourselves and everybody else? Because whether you are meditating or campaigning for human rights or building eco-villages or whatever activity you are engaged in, you know you will best do it from a place of love. And it's easy to forget that one simple golden principle. Right, next we have the sheeple. The sheeple represent the bulk of the population. As a broad generalization, they accept the established worldview, they go to work so they can have the money to consume, they watch a lot of TV, they consume, they live for the weekends, they consume, they complain about the state of the world, they consume, they fit in with each other, they consume. They don't have a preferred explanation for the Mandela Effect because it isn't included in the established worldview. Almost all of us have sheeple tendencies, myself included. It's a difficult thing to resist the established worldview that tells us we can be accepted and respected if we do as the sensible sheeple do. So the sheeple do not even want my best answer to the Mandela Effect, which is, of course, love. They've got bills to pay. And this is kind of a shame because they make up most of the population of the world. And most of the population of the world connecting with love is the best answer in the world to the problems of the world. If you are willing to recognize that you have sheeple tendencies, just as I do, just as most people do, then maybe you do have enough sense of yourself as a unique individual who does actually possess the power of independent thought to ask yourself if you are bringing anywhere near the amount of love into the world that you could. Debunkers. Debunkers tend to believe that the Mandela Effect is a result of mass confabulation. Fair enough. You won't be surprised to hear me suggest that should a large portion of the population suddenly fall under a mass shared delusion, then perhaps the best answer to that might be love. Unless, of course, you are also a love debunker. And I think there may be a few of those out there. But my personal experience of meeting people who I felt were delusional is that meeting them with love is far, far more helpful and healing than simply telling them they're delusional and that they should shake themselves out of it. If I think somebody is delusional, I won't pretend to share their delusion. That's not what I'm talking about. But I will put more emphasis on listening to them and showing that I'm listening to them with full respect than I will on trying to persuade them that they're delusional. And this can be a powerfully restorative thing for a person who is being told by every person that they meet that they are just flat out wrong. So, debunkers, I encourage you to consider the virtue in loving the delusional or the confabulated, even while you're disagreeing with them. Politicians, media, high-profile people, you guys feel like a tricky group to talk to. You feel far, far away to me. I suspect that you are not interested in my suggestions and are not ever likely to be unless I become a high-profile person myself. So for you guys, I'm simply going to send you my love. I am sending you my love, and that is the gift I give to myself. And the internet trolls. Well, if ever there was a group of people who could do with experiencing a bit of universal love, it is you guys. You get worked up because people seem idiotic and contemptible to you. You have chemicals fire in your brain each time you feel you have effectively made somebody feel small and pathetic. And then you want those chemicals to fire even more and more. And I do see that this is as much a cultural thing as anything. While I'm sure that you get trolls of all nationalities, and while I don't particularly want to be singling one country out from the rest, I have to say that I observe a culture of competitiveness in America that has made so many Americans hard-nosed by default. I witnessed this in the hard-nosed get them before they get you conversations that fill the internet. Get them before they get you. The trolls come out fighting from the first sentence, and it's such a fear-based approach, and America loves to export its culture to the rest of the world. And the only answer to this that is worth anything to me is love. And that is what makes this the uncoolest Mandela Effect video ever. Being a warrior is cool. Fighting against injustice is cool. Every other film that comes out of Hollywood is about tough, heroic people fighting bad guys, beating them to a pulp or just outright killing them. Every other pop song is about check me out, I'm better than the rest. Every other TV show is about how cool and cynical it is compared to all the others. But I'm not going to complain about it. I'm going to love. I'm not going to fight in the name of love, for the cause of love. I'm not going to fight at all. I'm just going to love. Because for me, this is the best answer to all of the possible explanations for what is going on in the world. And now I've worked that out for myself, I literally have no choice but to love to the best of my ability if I'm to have any kind of integrity. So, Christians, I'm not suggesting you stop being Christians. I'm just suggesting that you do being a Christian from a place of love. Conspiracy theorists, continue doing your work. Bring about the great disclosures of our time, but do that work with as much love as you can summon. If you catch yourself fear-mongering about a super elite that uses fear-mongering as a tool for psychological programming, then notice that you're doing that and find another way of delivering your research. Keep your integrity and do your work from a place of love. Spiritually minded people, you already believe in the power of love, but pay attention to yourselves. Just how often are you feeling and sharing the love that you prize so highly? Be conscious in your loving. Sheeple, I'm not asking you to stop being sheeple, but see if you can do it from a place of love. Watch your TV with love. Fit in with the established worldview with as much love as you can. It will actually make a difference. Debunkers, carry on debunking, but debunk with love. Debunk for love. If it's something you feel passionate about, then do it with love. Politicians, media, high-profile people of the world, I love you. I am sending wave upon wave of love to you. You are loved. Internet trolls. Is it possible to troll with love? I have no idea. Why don't you give it a try and report back with your findings? And that's me.